Ohio State. My name is Yusra Iftikhar. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a recent graduate of the Duke Doctor of Physical Therapy program. I recently started my first job as a PT in November 2020 at a small outpatient private practice just 5 minutes from my family's home here in southern Indiana, where I primarily treat patients with orthopedic, neurologic, pelvic health, sports, and persistent pain concerns. While I am in Indiana now, I'm from a little bit of all over. I was born in Pakistan. From there, we moved to Chicago, Illinois when I was less than a year old for my dad's medical residency. From there, we went to New Orleans, Louisiana, where I met my first ever best friend, and we are still best friends to this day. From there, we went up and to the right a little bit to a small town in North Carolina, where I mostly grew up. I moved out of my parents' home my sophomore year of high school to go to a boarding school just down the street from Duke University. That boarding school is called the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics, and it actually used to be a hospital. So my roommates there, who are also still currently my best friends to this day, and I are still mildly famous there because of a ghost encounter we had our senior year. But that's a story for another time. From there, I went to UNC Chapel Hill for my studies in psychology and religious studies, North Carolina State University for my master's in physiology, and eventually Duke University for my doctorate in physical therapy. But I only cheer for one on game day. Don't tell my program. I love public speaking and teaching, and as a former Zumba instructor, I really like to find fun and creative ways to educate, motivate, and empower people to celebrate all that our bodies and minds can do. I currently have a student in the clinic. She's a pre-PT student, and I'm having an absolute blast mentoring her. I also really like to write and edit, and I've been editing pre-PT admissions essays for about 4 years now. I also help other current and prospective health profession students, and have helped a couple of law students with some of their essays as well. I hope to continue that mentorship, both getting mentorship and being mentored, and also providing it and teaching others through your physical therapy residency program because of the many opportunities that you have to do just that. I'm the oldest of five if you count our favorite sibling, our cat Moose, and I have 2 wonderful, loving, and incredible parents who paid me $5 each to say that. My dad is a physician, and I come from a long line of physicians, and it wasn't easy breaking that pattern, but I couldn't be happier with my decision to choose PT. I have so much love for my parents in the way that they've supported and loved me through every decision that seems unfamiliar and a little uncomfortable to them initially. That support has allowed me to break down barriers, push boundaries, and challenge my community's idea of what constitutes success and happiness. That includes pushing myself way out of my comfort zone into spaces that scare me but light my PT fire anyway. As APTA Student Assembly Director of Communications and alternate delegate to the APTA House of Delegates last year, I worked closely with our SPT delegate to draft motion language, a survey to be sent out to all student members of the Student Assembly, and both opposition and support language for other motions in the virtual 2020 House. I would look forward to learning from Ohio State faculty who are interested and involved in professional leadership to combine my past experience in the House with my current role as an APTA Centennial Scholar on behalf of the Academy of Orthopaedic Physical Therapy to better understand APTA and PT policy and governance, and then do that work on the ground level as an orthopedic physical therapist who has a passion for addressing pipelines to PT education and clinical care. One of the scariest and most rewarding things I've ever done is start my blog, the DPT Diaries, almost 5 years ago now in 2016. The DPT Diary started purely as an outlet for myself to deal with a diagnosis of depression and an eating disorder, but it has since transformed into this window into my life as a young professional who loves orthopedics and has a passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion, mental wellness and body diversity, and unconditional vulnerability in everything that I do. I even started a book club last month, and we have our next one coming up in March. I am so excited for the opportunity to meet all of you and to interview with Ohio State's Orthopedic Physical Therapy Residency program later this month. OSU is my dream residency because you have it all. My biggest PT passions are mental wellness and inclusion for all people, and I believe that through research, teaching, community involvement, and strong clinical mentorship, Ohio State is the best place for me to continue to grow into the orthopedic clinical specialist I hope one day to be. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you soon.